Love, peace, and prosperity to my YouTube family. All praises to the Almighty, the Creator of all. So today I'm bringing to you a video that I just want to go over 5 reasons why I left the United States of America and came to Africa. So my first reason is there's a song by Bob Marley. Since I was a little girl growing up, I loved Bob Marley. I really wanted to be able to see him in concert, but he passed away when I was a young teenager. But he said, you think you're living in heaven, but you're living in hell. Yeah, he said, you think you're in heaven, but you're living in hell. And I started to realize just what he meant by that. So many things out in that side of the world that was glorified, that was not of the Almighty. However, they glorified it as if it was. One was birth control. So birth control is something that we as young ladies get introduced to. By the time we're like 12, 13, they're actually suggesting that we get on this thing, whether you're sexually active or not. And it's also a way to control the population and to sterilize us before we even become active or even think about reproducing. So when it becomes to that point that we want to reproduce, we're not able, because the birth controls that we consumed, it sterilizes us. My first one was Bob Marley telling us we was in hell when we thought we were in heaven. The second one is birth control. The third is educational system. It's so whitewashed. Not too long ago, the governor of Florida, which is the state I was living, and unfortunately, I must say that I'm still a resident of there. However, he decided to remove African American, Black history, whatever you want to call it, indigenous history from the curriculum for AP classes. So this is high school level, and that means they don't want our children to not even know the whitewashed part of their history, his story. It's our job, don't get me wrong, for us to teach our children. We have to let them know the truth. We have to make as much effort as possible to give them the truth. And sometimes it's hard. I grew up in a time where they played the movie Roots. And as a child living in New York, when the movie Roots was played, I used to notice it was always buildings burning down and looting and fighting and all kind of things. And I cried. It got to the point where I cried as an adolescent child because they kept playing this movie and I didn't understand why. And then when it got to me getting older, I understand what was being done. It was them messing with our psyche. It was all part of psychological manipulation. So every time this movie started, it is as if we were burning down our area and destroying where we live, and that was part of what they wanted. So they can continue to say, oh, we're the hostile ones. We're the ones that's always looting and shooting. When in reality, that's not true. Because we are not the ones who ever hung anyone on trees. we were hung. We were lynched. We were beaten with whips that they beat horses with, which I can't stand to see. Not even a horse or a donkey getting beaten, much less my brothers and sisters. My number 4 is I had fear for my son. I wouldn't even let him do anything on his own, basically. I dropped him off, I picked him up, or I paid for Ubers to do it. It wasn't about him taking any bus or walking anywhere. I just found myself paranoid all the time, and there was times he wanted to just walk to the store right down the street from the house, and I had to really start just realizing and allowing the Almighty to just cover him and keep him protected, because I know that it's not a job that I do on my own. I know that the Creator does it with me, so I had to just give it to the Most High and allow the Most High to do his job, because I was just too paranoid. And I think it was getting to him that I was being a little bit too overprotective. So that's my reason number 4, the fear for my son. He's here with me now. He's 16 years of age. He just had a birthday. And I just don't want him to have to be subject to a George Floyd experience. Eric, I don't remember his last name, the Eric guy experience, Sandra Bland experience. I don't want him to have to experience any of that, because we see it being done each and every single day. The injustice against melanin people, and it's always targeting our young men. Number 5, the food war that we're facing in America. We have the FDA, the Food Drug Administration, that approves basically all poison and garbage for us to put into our systems. And this is the drug war against all of us. There's none of us that's exempt from this drug war. And I call it a drug war because the food is like drugs. They're not promoting food that's good, that is nourishing or has nutrients to our bodies. They're putting straight GMO, Monsanto. This is not normal. This is not natural. I have mentioned to you guys that I came here, I was weighing like 170 pounds. And here I am, I'm weighed 150. And sometimes I go down to 147, 150 since I've been here. So I've lost like 30 pounds and wiggling in between, 31, 32 pounds. That's a lot of pounds. And I cook every day. I am a vegetarian. Maybe I can say the one thing I don't eat much of is I don't eat a lot of fish like I used to, and I don't eat shrimp really, but I had what we call conch. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I like it, but I have cut back on that, and then since I've been here, I don't get it. So I know that's not the only reason why I've lost the weight though. Yes, I've exercised more because come January gone, I made a decision and an oath to myself that I was going to take my health a little bit more seriously, exercise more, drink a lot more water, and just focus on my health. So that is my 5 reasons that I was living in, thinking I'm living in heaven because I had all the paved roads and able to get all access to so much more things, several different supermarkets and the so-called organic foods, So that's 1, heaven, but it was hell. Number 2, the birth control. The straight, I call it genocide. against my people. Yeah. They're giving us stuff that's making us sterile in our foods to eat. The educational system, where it's totally dumbed down for our youths. The curriculum, they don't raise the curriculum to challenge them, that they can come out smarter children at a higher grade level average and above average. They don't challenge them. And fear that my son could be targeted at any time, just walking down the street, and they see him and think that he just fits a profile or just looks like something that they feel like they needs to harass. And next thing you know, I don't even want to say it. And as I said, the FDA approving garbage, poison for us to consume on a daily basis. Foods, everywhere you turn, you got a McDonald's, a Burger King, a Wendy's, a KFC, a Popeyes, and all of these foods are not naturally grown foods. Some of them aren't even foods. They just appear to be foods. So yes, this is my reason, and this is part of my story on why I picked up myself and left with my 2 children. Thank you so much for being here with me to the end, listening to my story. And again, I see you again soon. Love you, my YouTube fam. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. More love.